Alright, so in an effort to make sure I'm doing my dev blogs every week, I'm just going to do a real quick one talking about this week. So this week I worked on the Brick Breaker uh, game, I guess, from Hobby Game Dev. They basically give you a basic framework, and then you get to add score, a title screen onto it, replace the images with real image files so they look nice. So the basic game looks a lot like this, and then of course I went back and I did the whole thing again. What I did was I actually created some AI for this one, so I'm just going to let this one run, and I'm just going to go over the AI over here. We'll just kind of, let's see, what can we do? We'll do it like this. Alright, so what I did was I came over to the paddle function, and originally the paddle function was just this where it says paddle x equals mouse x, and what I did was I created an even or odd function that does different, like if it's true, then it does random -2 to 1, somewhere in that range. It does like a bunch of different things. Like the paddle basically follows the ball around for the most part, but then I get basically add some or subtract some all the way up to 50. So like every time for every frame that if it's odd equals true, then it can go, random -2 or +1 all the way up to 50 off base. So you might be saying, well, why isn't this thing jittering around? And that's exactly what would happen originally, and what I did to so like the center point is moving, where the paddle actually is actually moving. But the actual graphic I fixed. I just basically have the graphic following the ball, equaling exactly where its x position is. And I think I went over to the ball function and did that, if I remember right. Yeah, somewhere. I'm trying to remember what I did, but basically I took the ball function and made it do that. I really appreciated this whole tutorial. It ran me through a lot of like the functions, and has you write a lot of functions. So if you're just getting used to programming or getting back into it, I definitely recommend this. Again, this is Chris DeLeon's Hobby Game Dev tutorials. This one is free if you sign up, and then he's got a whole bunch more beyond this. I'm not going to go too much in depth because he does that in his tutorial, but I thought I might just point out what I did on the on my functions. I might just put this. I'm not sure if I should if I'm able to put this in. I've got an even or odd function on here, which I had to look up, and then that sits outside of this function. I'm saying function a lot, and then yeah, basically the paddle movement is all contained right here. The paddle function is also based on how many bricks are left. So like if the bricks left is even or odd, it changes, like that's what's controlling the else here. So the if is like if they're even, and the else is if they're odd, and it also counts the number, and it adds that number to the paddle hits as well. So it's a combination of both the bricks left in the game and if the paddle hits are less as well. I'm trying to find where it was that I drew it. Yeah, I think what I did was I replaced down here the paddle draw function. I replaced this old function where it's drawing the paddle with this new one. So it's only going to draw it where the X position is of the ball, which is very smooth movement. I think if I change that, it will go back to being crazy. So let's see if that's what it was. So let's stop it and we'll restart it here. I added a bunch of bricks because so there you go. So that's all I did. So you can see that this is actually the way that the paddle is supposed to be moving. I just changed the function out that draws it to make it look smoother, to fool your eye. But basically that's where the paddle is. That's how many calculations it's doing as it's counting up to 50 and then back down to 50, and vice versa. Actually, you know what? I think both of these. Oh, it's only going one direction, I think. If I'm looking at it, paddle hits is less than 50. I'm not sure what I was doing there, actually. I think that this second part needs to be reversed and negative or something. Yeah. But it works. It does exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to randomly hit all the bricks and not necessarily intelligently sense where they were. I just wanted it to follow the ball So it's kind of like just kind of ghetto AI here for the paddle. So there you go. That was this week. Next week, I think I might try to go to Unity and start trying to design some sort of pinball thing. Of course, I've got a lot of other hobby game dev stuff I can do that's free still, and then eventually I'm going to move on and get probably get the full package either this month or next month and start working through all the hobby game dev tutorials. So just like to say personal thanks to Chris if he does watch this video. I really appreciate you and the stuff that you did with your development stuff really helped me out quite a lot. And when I do get the full package, it would be it'll be pretty neat when I'll probably go ahead and do that conference call. I think I get like 2 conference calls with you to talk about where I'll be going with my or what I want to do with games in general. So one of the biggest problems, actually, before I get off here, one of the biggest problems I did notice was making it so that the ball wouldn't just bounce up, hit the ceiling, and then come back in this V formation, because that was happening a lot. And I was trying to make things random, so it was very important to have it offset just right, so that way you have a chance to hit it in. Sometimes you'll hit it to the left, and sometimes you'll hit it to the right, and then basing that on like how many bricks and stuff is left. Like you could do it with just that by itself. I just decided to do an even or odd function on top of that. So that's pretty much what I did. I'll just show you the completed hobby game dev one just to show you that I did do that. So here's the Brick Breaker regular demo where it has all the nice images and the image files. And of course you can do this if you sign up for the email letter, I think, and get the original package. And so there you go. It's got my lives in the top right. It's got a score in the top left. Of course, the graphics look nice. We saw the opening screen. If I run out of stuff, then if I run out of lives, then eventually it'll go back to that opening screen, and then it's going to keep my score and say previous score right here. So there you go. That's what I worked on this week. Hope you guys liked it. I think I should be able to drop the code in below on the comment section for what I did for this AI here. And if you guys are looking at that, of course it's going to have some variables in there, so you have to understand code to know that you want to add those variables in, and you're going to have to go back to the Brick Breaker demo to really understand what all the different variables are that are in there. I think I'll just drop the code in, and just if I added variables, I'll add those, but other than that, you're going to have to go back to Chris's tutorial to get all of the exactly what to do if you wanted to replicate this basically this ghetto AI that I put together for the Brick Breaker. Other than that, this is Eric Squire signing off, saying God bless you and your families, and try not to rage too much out there.